case, I think that should be said. Listen, you're probably not going to get a deal when doing this with real estate agents, having a 30-day close. Can it happen? Yes. Is it likely? Not really. How would you add 5,000 to the 50 that she already said was too high in the first place? They wanted to get the house at 95. So that there's no possible way that anything could possibly happen. And it's like, at that point, you're not looking to pay anybody. When I first started, I was getting calls like a week later. People would text me like, hey, you still interested? And I'm like, oh, you still want to sell this? Like, I'm like, oh shit, I thought you just said F it. I thought you like, I don't want to do that shit no more. That's what my assumption was. Somebody called me this week about a property that I called them a couple of weeks ago. That's how real estate works. You've heard people who do wholesaling say you might have, this is why they say it's a long game and not a short game. It's about relationships for this exact reason, because 4 months from now, somebody might call me and say, hey, listen, Donivan, something fell through. If you're still ready to buy this deal, we can get it done right now. I'm like, all right, cool. And it's like that, boom, $10,000, $15,000, whatever the wholesale fee is, right? One thing we've been focusing on right now is building out a team for wholesaling, because as you know, Melissa hates wholesaling. She hates it with a passion. She doesn't want to do it no more. And I don't want to say I understand. I understand why she doesn't want to do it anymore, for her specifically. I don't have a problem doing it. I just know that I have not built up the infrastructure to support a wholesaling business. That's why it doesn't work, right? She does not want to cold call nobody. She don't want to negotiate with nobody. She don't want to look for deals. That's not what I said.
You're right.
Okay. So she won't do none of those things, right? I don't have a problem doing those things. It's fine with me. Because I know once I finally get the system down, I'll be fine. So to get the system down, we need a team. So shout out to everybody in the Bamboo Project family that's been commenting and trying to help us. It's really appreciative. There's two people. There's Emmanuel and there's Serena. Shout out to y'all, because y'all are amazing. Y'all are great. So both of them we're talking and emailing back and forth, and in their market they are looking at deals that come up and they're sending it to us, and we're reviewing it to kind of see like, okay, you know, this works, this numbers for that one and this for that, because they want to get into wholesaling. And since we're ahead of a little bit further along the line in wholesaling, we're like, okay, we can tell you what we know about it, and then you can use it for your business when you start looking for deals and things like that. The reason that we are building a team is because we need to be able to support the business of wholesaling. This is not a business that you really need to do, that you can do single-handedly. It's not. Whether you have to have a team of cash buyers, a team of people who find deals, and especially because I know everybody or the majority of people want to do wholesaling virtually or remotely. If you are going to do that, you need to have a team to do so. So we have a person in Atlanta or in Savannah who can get pictures for us. Serena said that she will get pictures for us, as well as she looks up deals for us because she can drive around in Atlanta. So that's great. We have Emmanuel. He's working. He said he doesn't have a car, so he's working in Indiana, and he's looking at deals, send them to us. And I said, it's amazing. We're looking them over, seeing what works and what doesn't work. I'm thinking the best way to do it is obviously pay people on the back end. So I'm like, all right, if you go to a property and if let's say you walk a property for us, we'll pay you $1,000 if we close on it. Like, that's what we're thinking. And then if you're just looking at pictures online, like if you're just kind of sending us deals and we actually close on a deal that you sent us, we'll give you $500 on that. And that's what we're thinking about. So if anybody wants to help us, if you want to take pictures for us, or if you want to send us deals or anything like that, you can just write in the messages below or comment below and just let us know, and we can try to figure something out, how to do it, what market you work in. I'm really, like I said, I'm heavy in Philadelphia right now, so I really need people in Philadelphia who can walk properties for me. That's an important thing I don't have. And like I said, $1,000 if we close, $500 if you send us the deal or send us the lead that we use to close on. If you do both, that's $1,500. Like, that's how it works. So like I say, I just think that right now I'm trying to just build a strong team, because I want to get to a point where a deal comes in and then it goes right back out and we get a wholesale fee. Like, that's what I'm trying to do. It comes in, we find somebody to find it, give it to us, review it, look it over, analyze it, get paid. But like I said, we have the point, we have half of it. We have the analyzing part and we have the getting deals part. We have those parts. That's very easy. I mean, not easy, but it was easy for us to get those parts. Now we have to just work on finding cash buyers. And honestly, if we're being honest, I'll even pay somebody for cash buyer. If you could find a cash buyer for us that buys a property, $1,000. You get $1,000 too. Everybody, listen, we just, because here's one thing I've learned about building a team or building a business, right? I want everybody to get paid because nobody wants to work and do anything if they don't get paid. People want to start a wholesaling business. I talked to Serena. She wants to start a wholesaling business. It's like, hey, if you take the money that we make as a team, you could take that and start your whole wholesaling business by yourself. You can go over there and build your team out on your side. And that's what I want. I want to build like a huge infrastructure for wholesaling based off of the work that we're going to put in. And like I said, to me, I don't have to make that much money. As long as I can make enough money to survive for myself, I can give up the rest to everybody else. And honestly, that's how Amazon works. It's like, hey, if I add value, if I add enough value to the industry or to the people, then I can take a small percentage of that value that I added, and I'll be perfectly fine. I get what I need to get. Emmanuel gets what he gets. Serena gets what she get. Our person in Atlanta gets what they get, and everybody's just eating. Everybody's doing well. And it's like if we as a team are generating, let's say, I don't know, 7 deals or 10 deals a month, I could be fine with getting like $8,000, $10,000 a month. I'll be fine. And listen, give the rest of it. We could pay you guys, you could pay you guys, and we'll be fine. That's kind of how I look at it.
And then another thing too, if you are a cash buyer and you're interested in seeing the deals that we have, feel free to reach out as well. Oh, right. Speaking of cash buyers, so something I've been working on lately is trying to vet my cash buyers, which is an issue I'm running into. Is I'm sending out it's a one form, it's 9 questions, and it just kind of gets to understand what you're looking for in deals. I have had 0 responses from that. I've probably sent it out to maybe like 4 or 5 people. Nobody's responded to it yet. So I'm trying to figure out maybe a disconnect with how I'm sending it, the platform that I'm using. I'm not sure yet, but like I said, because I want to be able to bring deals to cash buyers that work for them specifically. I don't want to be like other wholesalers where I have a cash buyers list, send to everybody. Here's a cash, everybody can look at it. I don't want to do that. I want like, you want to buy this, I got something for you. Like honestly, I want to be like the guy from Blacklist who has a Rolodex of people. He's like, oh, I need a guy, I got a guy for that, and I just give it to him. That's what I want to get to. I talked about a property I had in Philadelphia recently. And I was saying it was a deal. It's about to be a deal. It was close. It wasn't on market yet, but they wanted to go on market for whatever reason, and it seems like I lost out on that deal. I don't know why. I'm gonna call back. My assumption that the reason why I think I lost out on this deal is because Jerry needs 30 days to close. That is the reason why. Because they came back and was like, hey, can you close in 2 weeks? And you know what I had to say? No, I can't. I can't close in 2 weeks. And I tried to finesse a little bit. I said, hey, 30 days at the minimum. I put in a contract, but I could close before that if things go right. Don't nobody want to hear that, especially if you have another buyer that's saying, I close in 2 weeks right now. My relationship is not strong enough for the other person to say, I'll wait 30 days for you, because they still have to help the seller sell. They still make money for themselves, and they have a person buying it right now. And I'm telling them, yeah, wait 30 days. There's a finance contingency. There's an EMD after the 10-day period. And yeah, but we're going to buy it. It's like, that's cute, but I'd rather do it with this person right here who has the money in front of me and they're going to pay. That's one of the things I think I lost out on the deal, because right now it's pending, and I don't have a contract for it, but it's still pending. So somebody got it under contract, and it ain't me. So it's annoying because, like I said, I get deals all the time. All the time. People send me deals all the time. Off market, on market, vacant lots, multifamilies, everything you could think, commercial, everything you could think of, rentals. People send me commercial. I'm like, I don't even know through the commercial. They have the CMX, which is like, it's a term they use to kind of to categorize what kind of property you have. You can get, it's a zoning thing. So people send me those. Hey, Donivan, you want to look at the commercial? I'm like, nah, my guy Jerry don't really. He ain't say enough about commercials. I don't know if he do those. I got a townhouse for you. Nah, Jerry don't do. He don't do townhouses either. That's not gonna work. Do something. So I'm like, you know what? Fuck it. Fuck all of that. I'm gonna find me some other cash buyers, because obviously it's not working out for Jerry. It's not. It's not working out. And information great. 10K Cub Clark getting paid $10,000. Not great. I did not close on that one. It's pending. But again, I have it on my spreadsheet as it's just, I mark it as red because it's not closed. So anything can happen. Another property that I was looking at doing, it came out in 2 days, and I called him. The guy said, oh, somebody has it under offer or under contract or whatever. I'm like, damn, I missed it by a day or two. He said, yeah, you just missed it. He called me back, was like, hey, you still want to do it? I'm like, yes, I still want to do it. All right, let's go. So now that one, I'm waiting for a response back. But here's my issue with this one. I think is ready to do the deal. He asked me, am I doing hard money or cash? I said hard money. I haven't gotten a response yet. That was yesterday, so I'm still waiting to see what he says.
if I had a buyer who wanted to pay cash out of pocket for a deal, it would be great. Now I'm gonna give you numbers on it because people might want to know what the numbers are on this one. This one is selling for 180, right? I'm working to get it at 150, and the ARV for this property is it's 370, somewhere in that range, 365, 370, and the renovation is 90,000. But I put it at 100 just because you never know what could happen, right? I think I put it 90 to 100 renovation because it's a shell of a house, right? So that's an update on that one. Now, a funny thing that happened to me recently, right, is I have another property, right? Like I said, y'all would think I'm joking when I say deal. Like, y'all think I'm joking. There's another property. It's a developer who I have a relationship with, who I built talking on the phone, and he has a property that he wants me to purchase. I'm like, this sounds great. I would love to get to purchase this property, right? So he's like, yeah, have one of your contractors come look at it, give me, tell me what they say, this, that, and the third. I'm like, I like this. This is great. So, as you guys know, I do have a contractor that I have talked to in Philadelphia. I don't know him personally. We just have a working relationship based off of the phone calls that I've made to him and the relationship that I have built with him. Okay, that's strictly how we know each other. And that's it. So I called him up and I said, hey, I talked about this guy before. I said, hey, I have a property. Can you go look at it? And I said, listen, I could pay you for this one. Because normally I don't pay him, but I'm like, this one could be a really good deal. It's the house in the area is selling for a lot. This one could be really good. So I said, I'll pay you $100. I'll pay you $50 now, $50 after you look at it. So this property I can get it for $135. And the renovation I budgeted for $90, and the ARV I think is over $400. The ARV is $322, not over $400, $322. So this one I'm negotiating to get it under $130. That's what the numbers I'm looking at.
That's like $100,000 in profit.
In gross profit, it's $96,000 in gross profit, and net profit is $48,000. So again, I would put a wholesale fee, honestly, like $3,000, $5,000, and
we ain't really asking.
Right, I don't need to make a lot of money. I could do $3,000 to $5,000 wholesale fee. If that sounds like a deal, hit me up. If that's a deal to you, honestly, I'm gonna say the numbers one more time, and I want people to let me know if this is a deal or not, because I want to. Maybe I'm bugging. I'm gonna give it one more time, okay? So ARV is $322. Okay, I am trying to get the house at $135. Okay, renovation is $90,000. Let me know if that's a deal or not to you. If not, can you just let me know where I'm fucking up at? So I had the contractor go over there and look at the property. Right now, the property is in disarray, complete disarray. Right, like it's terrible. Like this house, I might put some pictures up of that too. This house is really fucked up. They said there's holes in the wall that I can see outside. The roof is messed up. The floor is messed up. There might be foundational issues there. There's water leaks, and it's just, everything is just messed up. And like I said before, the reason why this is probably worse than a house to the studs, because you have to take all that stuff out, and you have to now replace the things that are, maybe like some of the studs might have rotted. You have to now replace that as opposed to just brand new studs. The reason why the developer respected me as a buyer is because before I even looked at the property, I said the renovation would be $90,000. He said, "How do you know that?" I'm like, I just, based off of the area, based off of what I've seen before, $90,000. He said, "Wow, I have it at $93,000." He's like, "You must really know what you're doing." Mind you, I've never done a deal in my life, never done one, never closed anything. He's like, "Yo, you sound like you must be really seasoned." I'm like, I just kind of looked at it, ballpark figured it, $90,000, right? He's like, okay, I like that. We can get some deals done in the future. I'm like, all right, it's great. This is perfect. I still have no cash buyers. So based off of that, I said 90. He said it'll be 93. So we came, we're in that ballpark. So I sent this contractor over there that I had been talking to for like the last couple of weeks, who's been doing walkthroughs for me before, for free up until this point. He calls me back after he goes to this property, right? The contractor calls me back and he says to me, "Hey, Donivan, what's going on?" I'm like, "Oh, what's going on, man? How was the property?" He's like, "Yeah, it needs a lot of work. It's terrible. The floors are slanted. The roof is messed up. It needs new windows all over the house. And the house is 1,800 square feet, right?" So I go, "Yeah, man. So, what you think about renovation costs?" Now, a house I just said, I'm going to give you guys the square footage again. It's 1,800. It's It's 1,920 square feet, right? It needs a complete redo of everything. Every single thing in the house needs to be replaced. Anything you could think of, replace all of that shit, right? He told me the renovation for this house would be $200,000 for this house to be renovated at. Now, how on earth did he come up with that number? I have no idea. I have seen huge renovations, brand new houses, landscaping, new cement. You could even add a tree if you wanted to a house. Not be $200,000. The most I might see for a livable house and not one of these $1 million homes, I'm talking about under $500,000 house.
It's probably like 150.
150, and I was gonna say 120, and I'm still pushing it. 120, you could get 120, depending on the area. 150, you should be able to cover everything. Yeah. That 150 should cover everything, right?
Every single thing.
He said, you know what's crazy? I forgot one thing. He didn't say 200. He said well over 200.
Oh, he did?
He said over 200,000.
That's a new house.
I'm like, what the fuck you mean? Well over 200? I'm like, bruh, there's no way this is over $200,000 renovation. So now I'm talking to him. I haven't responded to him yet. Now the developer calls me, and now we're talking about it. And he's like, yeah, man, you know, the guy was asking me how much you buying the house for. I didn't really want to tell him because he seemed like he was kind of, you know, shaky or unsure about things. I don't really know. So I didn't really want to get too much information. I'm like, yeah, I respect that. So he was saying that it needs a lot of work. This is what the contractor was telling the developer. I go, okay, that's what he told me too. So I said, yeah, I'm curious. Did he tell you, like, did he give you a price, how much it would cost? He was like, nah, he didn't give me a price. What did he tell you? I said, yeah, I don't think you're gonna believe this. He told me 200,000 plus. Not even me. This guy was like, what? It was $200,000 plus for renovation. He's like, where you get this guy from, Donivan? Where you get him from? Now, mind you, I don't have no experience on this, so I can't even I have to still finesse in a sense where I'm going, okay, yeah, you know, he's a this, you know, I gotta kind of, I don't really know. I'm trying to finesse because again, I don't have the experience or history to be able to say this, that, this. You know, I met him here, I met him there. He does this kind of work, he does that kind of work. I don't have that experience, so there's that. Then, So then the guy, even before that, this is one of the reasons why he was trying to, the developer I'm referring to, was saying, listen, I have guys that can do it themselves for $90,000 to $95,000. If you use my guys, you'll be fine. Now, whenever somebody does that to me, I kind of go, all right, this is it trying to upsell me on some nonsense and get their people to get paid. I'm like, I don't really know. So I wasn't really answering this question in the beginning. I think it's funny because as we spoke the second time, somehow he just assumed that I was now going to use his people. Like, yeah, I'm glad that you told me you're going to use my people. And I'm sitting on the phone like, I never said that. Like, I didn't even say it. Where did he hear that from? I never said I was going to use his people. I don't even know his people. I don't know how true this stuff is. But he's assumed that I was going to use his people. So, like I said, we're going to keep an update on what happens with that property. He's actually supposed to contact me today because what happened with that property was somebody was going to buy the property, but they lost the financing for the property. And like I said, people keep bringing me deals. So he came back to me and said, hey, Donivan, I respect your opinion on the property, how much it's going to be worth when it's fixed up. I think you know what you're doing. I want to work with you. They might not be able to close on it. I'm going to contact you on Friday to see what happens with that deal. So I don't have to wait for today. But I don't have a cash buyer to sell this property to. And I would hate to lose a relationship. I don't care about the money. I want the relationships. And I would hate for me to be like, yeah, man, I can't do it. Or I bring a cash buyer that's like, oh, I can't buy this. I would hate all of that. I would hate all of that. Because I'm like, it just makes me look, it's unprofessional. I want it to be, you have a property, I buy the property, or I wholesale it immediately and it's done. Instant transaction. That's what I want to get to.
Hit our line.
Cash buyers in Indiana, cash buyers in Atlanta, Savannah, and cash buyers in Philadelphia. If you know anybody or you have connections, reach out to, it's a form though that I'm sending out. It's 9 questions. Reach out to us. We will make sure that you are an investor and buy properties, and we will then vet you to make sure that you can actually come through and be on our very selective, high quality cash buyers list.
Cause listen, we trying to come through for y'all.
Right, exactly. We trying to work for y'all. We want to work together. So we have the top. If you don't have to even be an experienced investor. If you can buy in your first or two properties, we have properties for that too. You want to get a rental game? We have those. We have all this. We have all the stuff. I'm telling you. We just need cash buyers. Tenants. If you want tenants already paying, we got you. You want places that need tenants, you want to fix it up, we got the properties. It's just, they're not in the contract because we're like, hey, who am I going to give it to? Yeah. If we find somebody, if you tell us what you want, we'll get on the contract for you. And we'll wholesale it to you, $3,000, $5,000, $10,000 wholesale fee, and everything is good. So that's that.
I personally don't want to do wholesaling anymore. We talked about this, you know, throughout this videos. Y'all can kind of see it. Not kind of. Y'all can probably see it when I'm on the phone with people. Y'all can see it like, listen. This, for me, is trying not to get evicted. Donivan, on the other hand, he can really see this branching out and being a good business opportunity for us. So, you know, I'm going to do what I have to do, but I don't want to do it. So, segueing into the next thing, right now, I really want to get into the Airbnb business. I want us to move to Atlanta and try to start our Airbnb business there. So stay tuned to see if we actually go through with that and how that goes. If you're currently working right now and you're working for a company that matches you in dollars for your 401k, I heavily suggest that you invest in that. That allowed me to get a couple $1,000 in stocks that I'm able to trade, that I'm able to, you know, kind of move around with, and then you can take it out early with a 10% penalty. And I think that was very, very helpful for like what we might do in the future.
I'm going to answer some comments that we got for people who are new to wholesaling, or, you know, if you don't want to go and read all the comments that we have gotten, I'll answer some questions. I feel like people still have questions or may not have had these questions answered for them. So somebody asked, Ty Danny said, how many calls do you make per day, and are you doing this every day? So we have been trying to make, we try and make calls every day. We don't do it for hours every day. We try to. The last week, from Saturday to I think Tuesday, we made a couple of calls. Not a lot. Maybe in total, maybe like 15 or 20 for that whole time period. Maybe like 2 a day or 3 days, something like that. We started making calls again on Tuesday and Wednesday. We were still doing real estate related and wholesaling related things, yes, but it wasn't sitting down and cold calling agents for new deals. We weren't doing that. So that's what we do. And we have videos of us doing the live cold calling, which will be in the description or in the wholesaling series playlist. Someone asked me, how long did it take for us to get paid from the 10K Club? If you somehow managed to skip over the last however long this video is, we have never got paid from the 10K Club, ever. Not at all, ever. Somebody asked me how to get a refund on the 10K Club. Stephen Miller asked that. I haven't responded to him, and I keep forgetting. It was a week ago. I told him I was going to call the company. Actually, I'll call him right now. I'm going to call him right now.
How can I help you?
Hey, Diane. I was calling. I'm in the 10K Club. And I was curious about how would I go about getting a refund if I wanted one?
For a refund for the 10K Club, we have the 90-day guarantee. So for you to qualify, you need to submit a total of 3 deals for the first 90 days. It doesn't matter if it's approved or not, as long as the deals meet the criteria and you submitted it for the first 90 days, then you are qualified to get a refund.
Stephen, the answer to your question is you have 90 days. If you have submitted deals, you have to have submitted 3 deals to them within the 90 days to get a refund. After that, you cannot get a refund unless you get a deal for them and the 10K Club and you get 10K, then you give you $1,000 back. P. Barron asked me, in Jerry's videos, he keeps saying that you can use his software for free. Is that true? Yes, it is true. If you are part of the 10K Club, all the softwares in there are free. He has a lot of different tools that he has that are free on his page. The softwares themselves may not be free, like Flipster. You have to pay for.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you have to pay for Flipster. Okay.
You have to pay for Flipster. Obviously, to be in a 10K Club or the Lot Finder Club, things like that, you have to pay for. But a lot of other software or tools he has are free. The ones that actually, I guess, engulf everything or encapsulate all of the tools together, you have to pay for. It says, I think it's Gokl, G-O-K-L asks me, I'm starting out, just about to buy the 10K club. Do I think it's worth it? I think people ask me this a lot. Now, my answer to this is it depends on what you are planning to do with the 10K club. If you think that you're going to be getting 3 deals a month from the 10K club, I would recommend, then that's only submitting it to Jerry, I would recommend not doing it. That's what your plan is for this, for the course. If you want to learn more about wholesaling, I would absolutely recommend paying $1,000 for the course, 100%, because you might get paid for it. So imagine that you can learn, and there's a possibility that you'll get paid. So I think that's great to know you won't get paid at all. So I think that's great. So I would definitely recommend it if that's your case. Also, if you want to do it part-time, very sporadically, and you're doing it for money, I would say do not join the 10K club. Do not join it if your specific goal is to only make $10,000. If your goal is to get rich from the 10K club, no. I would say do not join it. If you want to do it just to make $10,000 in the next 12 months, sure. I think you'll find a deal within 12 months if you're putting in about 25 hours a week of work. I think you can find a deal over the next 12 months and make $10,000. If that sounds worth it to you, then by all means, join the club. Armani said, do I have any advice for them before they join the club? My advice would be, be prepared to make a lot of phone calls. If you're not used to cold calling, be prepared for that. You're gonna build up a lot of muscles to have to deal with a lot of agents or deal with sellers, which I don't really deal with, or buyers, or driving for dollars. If you don't have a car, it's gonna be harder. Or contractors. You gotta deal with people to get to property if you're doing it remotely. So, you gotta
talk to a lot of people.
Yeah, so that's depends on kind of personality that you have is what I would advise for you to do it. If you want to do a lot, if you're willing to put in a lot of hours of work, you will learn a lot about wholesaling and be able to be successful at it. If you're willing to put in, honestly, 5 to 7 hours a day for a couple of weeks, maybe a couple of months, maybe about 3 months. I think if you can put in 5 hours a day for 6 to 7 weeks, I think you will be great. I think you'll be really good and you'll get a deal if you can do that, and you are cold calling and then building on the cold calling, and 5 hours every day sitting down just calling, 5 to 7 hours a day making phone calls, whether it be to cash buyers, whether it be building up a team of boots on the ground, whether it be trying to get deals with leads. That I do not like to do marketing with bandit signs, things like that. They do work. That's not my expertise. I'm not where I don't live in Philadelphia, so I'm not putting up signs there, and I'm not sending out post notes, because everybody that I've seen talk about it says that if you put out the post-it notes, it's probably a 1% chance of all the notes that you get out that somebody will even respond to you. Mm-hmm. It's a 1% response rate, like not a deal rate. It's a 1% response. So I gotta put out 100 flyers to get one person to say no. Right, exactly. To be like, what's this? I want to buy your house. No, thank you. So think about that. I probably have to put out thousands of. I just don't like that approach. And
it costs money.
And it costs money. A lot of people don't want to spend money wholesaling. That's the bottom line, which is probably people are joining the 10K club in the first place. They don't want to spend any money really. So they say, hey, maybe if I spend $1,000, I get my money back. That's great. But again, I don't like doing the marketing thing. I don't like paying for the Google search stuff. I don't like having the Facebook marketing, and because I'm just begging and praying that somebody buys. And of course, if I market to everybody in the entire world, I'll get deals. I 100% am sure that if I market to everybody in the world, I'll get a deal. But who has the funds for that or the time for that?
It adds up.
Right. Oh, Emmanuel asked me, there are laws changing in states about wholesaling. How does that affect me in the 10K club? It doesn't affect me in the 10K club. That doesn't really matter. Because I wholesale in Philadelphia, it might affect me. But the only reason I say it might is because it is a law that is changing. However, my opinion on this is that they are only doing that so they can make money on it. They are not doing it to stop wholesaling. They want to get a cut of the money, and they also want to stop predatory behavior from people who are trying to take advantage of other people, other homeowners who don't know the value of their house. Mm-hmm. They're just trying to come in and undervalue their house and say, hey, your house is worth $100,000, I'll pay you $20 right now. And then they'll probably call them over and over and over and over again. When you have these big companies, they don't care about the people. They're just like, hey, how many, like I said earlier, all I have to do is call a bunch of people and call you 15 times and you'll finally close on it. I watched a video where somebody was saying that you have to reach out 10 or 12 times before you actually close on a deal. So imagine that. That's his numbers. As a metadata, he's saying, I got to call you 10 or 12 times. What person wants to be called 10 or 12 times about their house after they already told you no? Like, nobody wants to be called like that. So after a certain amount of time, those people are going to complain and go, okay, this is an issue. You start talking to your friends. Everybody's saying, I'm getting calls from all these random strangers. And as people may or may not know, for some reason, over the last couple of months or a year or whatever, maybe the last year, I feel like the calling rate for random calls I've been getting has gone up. I don't know. It's not wholesaling calls. I don't own any property, but it's definitely gone up for random calls. So I can already assume you're getting those calls plus wholesaling calls. You don't want to do that. So you go to your local, officials and say, hey, I don't want to deal with that no more. So that's what's happening. So I don't think it's going to affect me, but.
And then also, along with the predatory stuff, people will lie to you about the condition of the house. People will lie to you about whether it has liens on it, taxes, and things like that. And that's also what they're trying to circumvent with these wholesaling rules. So if you are doing wholesaling the right way, and honestly, I think that mostly applies to people that's going direct to seller anyways, because we are dealing with people that are represented by real estate agents. So it doesn't really cause an issue for us. And then another thing too is that in the real estate contracts that I've seen in the states that I've worked on with properties, and that's like Ohio. I got a contract from Ohio, a contract from Pennsylvania, a contract from Georgia, and I think one from Tennessee that I've already overlooked. They all say that the contracts are assignable as long as the seller and buyer agrees to it. So it's like if they want to sell their house, they're going to agree to that. So It's not really a big concern.
That is, all of that is 100% true. So it's like we don't have to deal with that, because the people that are annoyed the most, and I think somebody asked me before that I should, I'm looking in the wrong direction or something like that.
Like you shouldn't be, yeah, they were saying that basically we should go direct to seller, and I'm like, so you want me to talk to the people that don't want to sell their house about selling their house, than to the people that want to sell their house about selling their house?
Like they put it publicly out here, like, hey, they have a sign on their house saying, I want to sell my house, please buy it. And I'm like, okay, hey, I know a guy over here that wants to buy it. Let me bring him over here. They go, cool, and they pay me for it. That's fine.
And then the thing about on market deals that I think people need to realize is that the reason most of the time why a house is not selling is that it's overvalued. You're trying to sell it for way more than it's worth. So we're trying to go into that middle ground where it's like, okay, this is what your house is actually worth. This is how much renovations I have to do for your house, and really explain it. And there's an understanding there. The agents. You hear it on the calls. The agents know that it's overvalued. So eventually, if they want to get their house sold, they're gonna have to sell it to someone for less than they set their mind on getting it for. So there's no issue in that if you're selling the house for the proper value that it should be sold at.
Yeah, and one thing that's talked about in the Philadelphia law is that they want, pretty much similar to the contract that's already in place with the PAS or PAR agreement, is that they want you to tell the seller how much the house is worth, or let them know what they're getting into. And if you're already represented by an agent, that is their job. So that's already happened. The agent will come to you and talk to you about the price. They've already been hired. They've already been registered. They've already been licensed to talk to you about the value of your property. So for me to come in and talk to you about your property based off of the person that you hired, who is legally supposed to tell you the value of your house accurately, I'm not doing anything wrong. I'm talking to him. And if I say, hey, sir, I will pay you, and this will come down to research. I'll say, hey, this house is worth $150. I want to buy it at $130. Does your seller want to take $130 for it? They go, let me talk to them. Hey, seller, if offer $130, you want to take it? They go, sure, I'll take it at $130. What did I do wrong in that situation? I didn't unnecessarily prey on them. I didn't blow up their phone trying to get them to buy the house. Mm-hmm. I didn't leave notes all over their door. I wasn't bothering them. They trying to sell the house. And honestly, we're helping those people more than people who are buying houses from people who don't want to sell it. Those people are saying, hey, I've talked to so many agents of people who have passed away over the last year who are trying to sell, who their family don't know what to do with the house. They're trying to move to another state because they don't like the laws in their state. Mm-hmm. People who are saying, I just don't want to live here anymore. I want to move somewhere else. All types of things. There's nobody more motivated to sell their house than the person that's saying, I want to sell my house. There's no more motivation than that. Like, what else do you need that says, I am struggling. I don't want to live here anymore. I can't afford the house. Will somebody? They're motivated so much. They are hiring somebody to sell the house for them. There's no more motivation than that. You can't get no more motivated than that. So that was for Emmanuel, who shout out to Emmanuel. We gonna get paid. We gonna get paid on this side.
Nicole Jenkins said, for the 10K Club, once you get that first deal and get your $1,000 deposit back, do you still get to be in the program and bring deals to Jerry, or do you have to put down another $1,000 to continue to be in the program?
So the answer to that question is you get your $1,000 back one time, right? And you don't have to keep paying after that. Once you already pay, that's it. You don't have to worry about paying no more. You have the lifetime access, as far as I know, unless you somehow violate their terms of agreement. Then other than that, you're fine. You'll be perfectly fine, and you're good. So pay $1,000 once, and you can get $10,000 over and over and over and over again, as long as you put in the work to get the deal.
Some dude, that is his name, asked, if you are in the 10K Club, can you ask Jerry's teams questions about different deals you will not submit to him?
Yes. Every week they have a Sunday call where you can ask them questions about anything wholesale related. And they answer them. You have about an hour and a half or so. It's not too many people on the call, so you can get your questions answered. I haven't had a time where I was in the call and it did not get to my question. And some people even come back up in the queue or the queue more than once and go, hey, I have another question. They go, okay, hey, here you go. And they give you a very well-informed answer for what you need, and it's very helpful.
Omar said, how did you guys find your leads and be able to get 2 contracts already? I'm new too, and I'm curious.
So for us, we do strictly calling agents, on-market deals. That is all we do. We just cold call. You can watch our videos. We just call them up, talk to them, build a relationship, and we just work finesse from there. We got to get a proof of funds, which Jerry has. You can use that. Like I said, with the information that Jerry has given us, you can get to getting a contract. It's not hard to get contracts. For me, it's not hard. I feel like it's very simple. Cash buyers, though, a little bit harder. So that's how we got our things, our contracts, just literally calling agents. Oh, actually, not only is it calling agents, it's after we cold call agents, they bring us other properties that they are listing or going to list later.
That's one of the things that we make sure that we say in the phone calls when we talk to them.
Yeah.
Apartment maintenance tech said, hello, have you started building a buyer's list? Because I noticed the other day that you were talking about going through Jerry and you got turned down. After all the work you guys did, it's not fair to you, and that doesn't pay your bills. Did I read that right? After all the work you guys did? Okay. And that doesn't pay your bills. Build a buyer's list and ask them what properties they are looking for, so you know who to call for different types of properties instead of depending on one person to buy. Apartment
maintenance tech, you are amazing. Yes.
Ding, ding, ding.
Yes, this is exactly what we are trying to do.
Yeah.
I mean, it's funny because when we saw this, we had pretty much that same day was like, we need to start finding cash buyers because this is not working.
Yeah.
This is not working trying to give deals to Jerry. So apartment maintenance tech, shout outs to you. I wonder if you know about maintenance in apartments. Because, I mean, as it says in your name, so could you be able to give us advice on any property that we do post and say, hey, this needs more renovation? And I'm wondering where you're located. Can we figure something out? Maybe we could get a contractor to come look at the property. I don't know, something. I'm trying to get some work done. Let's see what we could do. That wraps it up for episode 9 of the wholesaling series, Evicted. What are we going to do next? So,
Airbnb.
She wants to do Airbnb, but I keep telling her, listen, I'm gonna tell y'all on here, Melissa is probably gonna quit Airbnb if it's hard. If she does not get a deal in wholesaling and she starts doing Airbnb, she will quit because it will become hard and she will run into things that she would not expect. I'm saying it out right here, so when it happens, I have proof to show her that you are gonna quit it if it becomes hard, unless you get a wholesale deal. The reason I say that is because she will build the muscle to finish things first, finish them, and then move on from it. If she can get a wholesale deal and get money paid for it, or get paid for a deal, I think she will have the muscle to do Airbnb. That's my theory.
I think that's great. I also think that it makes sense to pivot and to look at new avenues when things aren't working.
What? What do you mean with what?
Yes.
So when do you stop pivoting? Do you just when do you just pivot all the time? You just pivot every time? You just keep pivoting? You pivot all the time. You just be pivoting every time. Every time somebody comes, you just pivot. That's all it is.
Listen, right now, this has not been working the best way.
What has not been working? It has been working just fine. Everything, we have leads, we have deals, we have a team that we're...
made any money.
How many cash buyers do you have?
Zero. Did I say I'm gonna stop wholesaling?
Yes.
No. How?
You said I hate this shit and I want to quit.
Yes.
Why?
Did I say I'm gonna
stop? Because it's so hard.
That's not what I said.
So you say, oh, it's so hard. It's so hard.
That's not what I said.
All right. Camera about to die. We've been doing this. It had to be at least
maybe I did say that.
2 hours long.
It'd be hard.
So we might do a part 1 and part 2 for this because this shit is extra long.
It's very long.
So, but we're done. And Bamboo Project out.